Hey guys, Rumham here, and welcome to my new series on how not to play Hearthstone. I'll be taking a look at various meta decks and highlighting key mistakes that I see players of all skill levels making. Today, we're going to start with Evolve Shaman. Evolve Shaman is essentially a combo deck that performs its combo very early on in the game. Your general game plan is going to be to equip Bogspine Knuckles and set up a large swing turn where you put a bunch of stats onto the board at once and overwhelm your opponent. However, you'll also find that with cards like Revolve, Derailed Coaster, and Sea Giant, the deck has other ways to accomplish this even if you don't draw into your weapon. At the moment, there's two main ways to build Evolve Shaman, and they're very similar to each other except for one key difference. The first and more popular way to do it is to play Novice Engineer, which lets you draw cards as you're developing a board, and this will give you a nice steady stream of minions to throw at your opponent. The other way to build the deck is to use Parachute Brigand, which will come down for free whenever you play any of your other pirates. This is a bit more of an all-in strategy, as your first few boards are going to be bigger, however you're also going to be running out of cards a lot quicker. So how do we do this as efficiently as possible? Let's look at the mulligan. So the mulligan for this deck is a little bit different than the mulligan for most other decks. In general, you're going to be hard mulliganing every single game for Cage Match Custodian and Bogspine Knuckles, and only if you have one of those two, then you can decide to keep other cards. Just like any other mulligan, there's going to be exceptions to this. For example, if I'm on the coin, I like to keep Desert Hair and Revolve together so that I can make some 3-drops early on before my opponents are expecting them. If I believe my opponent is playing an aggro deck, I like to keep Lightning Bloom so that I have a better chance of being able to fight for board early on. If my opponent is a rogue or a paladin, I like to keep Revolve so that I have a good answer for things such as Edwin, Questing Adventurer, or Paladin's buff cards. If you already have Cage Match Custodian or your weapon in your hand, then you can start thinking about keeping some other cards such as Lightning Bloom, Dread Corsair, Desert Hair, and sometimes even Derailed Coaster if you're playing against a slower deck. Now that we've talked about the general game plan, some lists, and the mulligan, instead of telling you how to play the deck, I would rather tell you how to not play the deck, by giving some examples of very common mistakes that people make. The first, and by far the most common mistake I see people making when they play the deck, is they play their Sludge Slurper or their Tour Guide on turn 1. And that might make sense. It's a 1-drop, you play it on 1, right? There's a few reasons why that 1-drop is a lot better in your hand than it is on the board on turn 1. The first reason is it makes your Derailed Coaster a lot worse. If you play your Tour Guide on turn 1, then that's one less minion your Derailed Coaster is going to summon on turn 5. And maybe that's the difference between being able to play a Sea Giant alongside your Derailed Coaster. Another thing you need to consider before playing that 1-drop on turn 1 is that later on in the game, these 1-drops will essentially cost 0 mana or even -1 mana. Being able to play 2 minions for the price of 1 mana is a really big deal when you're trying to cheat out as many stats as possible, and can sometimes be the difference between being able to play 1 Sea Giant or 2 Sea Giants. Another mistake I see people making a lot is they play their Dread Corsair and swing immediately the turn that they play their weapon. Now this one's a bit trickier because this is a play you want to be making a lot of the time. However, you also need to ask yourself if holding on to that 0 mana Dread Corsair for an extra turn is going to be the difference between being able to play a Sea Giant or a Mogu Flesh Shaper or not. And if it is, then you might want to hold on to your Dread Corsair so that you can cheat out as much stats as possible. Another mistake I see people making, and this is the one that I get asked the most about when I'm streaming, follow me on Twitch, has to do with evolving into Doomsayer. Evolving into Doomsayer can be very scary, and if you do evolve into a Doomsayer, there's a really good chance you're going to lose that game. However, there is 145 2-drops in the game right now, so whenever you evolve a 1-drop, there's a 0.7% chance of getting any specific 2-drop from it. While evolving into a Doomsayer is very bad, there's also a lot of very good 2-drops you can evolve into. So just to put it into perspective, there's a 0.7% chance of evolving into Doomsayer. However, there's also a 4% chance of getting a taunt, 3% chance of getting spell damage, 13% chance of getting death rattle, 1% chance of getting poisonous. I could go on. there's a lot of 2-drops that are very useful to you. And sure, you might lose a few games because you evolved into a Doomsayer. However, you're also going to win a lot of games because you evolve into a good 2-drop. The way I see it, when evolving your 1-drops, the chance of getting a Doomsayer is heavily outweighed by the chance of getting something that's actually useful. So when I'm setting up my swing turns, I evolve as many 1-drops as possible, and the only time I ever respect the Doomsayer is if I think that it's the absolute only way I can lose the game. If the only way that you can ever see yourself losing that game is evolving into a Doomsayer, then sure, respect it, don't evolve all the 1-drops, you're gonna win anyways, so why even bother? But if you think that your opponent still has a fighting chance in any way, you might as well just go and evolve your 1-drops. You're way more likely to get something useful than you are to get the Doomsayer. With all that being said, let's take a look at some games that I played in High Legend that showcase what I've been talking about. The old mirror match, huh? Just toss everything. I don't need any of that nonsense here. Alright. Got the Custodian. Oh, dude. Coasters are gonna be a little weak now, huh? Alright. So we do Totem here. Unless he has double Bloom, and it's a very big ask. Oh, whoa. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's actually really scary. That's a lot of damage. But he's gonna have no mana next turn. Ooh! That's so good for me. Okay. So... maybe I actually just still go for the coaster. Because I could go Mogu, trade, revolve. I could even broomstick. Well, actually, no, I don't need to do that. It's probably coaster. I don't want to be taking too much damage here. Taking so much damage if I'm not careful. I think I'm gonna even play the Mogu as well. I can full clear this board. Nice. Aww. That's unfortunate. Wow, this dude just does not stop. Does not stop. That's okay. We got our weapon. And we don't have, like, Sea Giant or Mogu or anything, so I definitely just play this here. Unfortunately, we can't take value trades at all, but I think we just need to... we're chilling. This guy's just, like, super overloaded. Okay, now we just get to make more value trades. Yeah, this is looking great for us. Okay, and this is one of those situations where I feel like the only way I lose this game is to a Doomsayer, so I think I am gonna... And I also would like a taunt anyways. So I'm gonna swing and then totem. Alright, well we didn't get it, but whatever. Slightly scary, but I think we're okay. Yeah, we just gotta make value trades here. Like we're gonna make this trade, and then we're gonna make this trade, and then I guess we do make this trade as well, actually. And then we're gonna go hit him with the revolve. Okay. We can't make any value trades, so I might swing to see if we get something better. No need to be greedy, right? Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's kind of fun. Yeah, I guess we'll just go like this. Nice. See, it seems like this guy kind of ran out of steam because he played the Sludge Slurper on turn 1 and then played the Lackey on turn 2. And that sort of made it so that the Flesh Shaper and the Sea Giant just never came down on time. But I guess it's not over yet. Actually, yes it is. This gives us lethal always, right? What? Hey, a non-shaman. You guys got ourselves a non-shaman. Oh, and a sick hand too. So we keep Dread Corsair and Lightning Bloom because I have Custodian. Then hopefully we find a 3-drop. So we're gonna go Custodian, Bloom, Weapon. Oh, this is the perfect curve, you guys. Perfect curve. Now we just need to not... Our opponent needs to not have Sticky Finger. Of course, they might not even have a chance to play it. We will see. Whoa, I'm playing against a Galakron warrior. Okay. And because we don't have Coaster or Sea Giant or Mogu or anything in hand, we might as well just play this, especially because we have Horde Pillager. If I had Coaster in hand, maybe I hold on to this. But this seems pretty good. Obviously, this is a bad evolve, but whatever. Nothing we can do about that. And of course, now I draw the coaster. Of course. Kind of feels bad trading in here, but we gotta do it. Ooh. That's not what I was looking for. This is scary if my opponent has another invoke. Oh my goodness. That's a lot of minions. So what I could do here is I could play Tour Guide Hero Power Mogu Revolve. Is that good enough? Might have to be. Wow, these are not... Oh, these are so bad. Ugh. What am I playing? Terrible. Gotta kill this, probably. Dude, what do I have to do to get some good evolves around here? It's like I think every evolve I had this game was a low roll. Alright. I'm gonna not low roll this one. I'd say that was pretty not a low roll. Went off lethal. Sick. Pretty good. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like and subscribe, and if you have any more questions, put them in the comments down below.